I hear it.
Welcome back to pregame.tv. Big week, folks, Super Bowl week, but we've got a college basketball game for you. Ken Thomson's going to break down Kentucky at Missouri. He's Ken Thomson, SportsX Radio here in Las Vegas. And, of course, Bryan Leonard, man about town. Been busy this week, Mr. Props.
I'm pretty exhausted, and I still got a few days to go.
There you go. All right, and, of course, you know, I'm Marco D'Angelo. Guys.
Man about buffet.
Man about the thank you, sir.
By the way, you could tell we're going to be doing Super Bowl videos. Guess who Marco likes? Just thought I'd throw that out there.
All right,
Not
guys.
a salad is a hint.
We're looking at this game, Ken, Kentucky. You know, they've got the gaudy record as they normally do, but they've shown some games where they've struggled on the road. And right before we went on air, you were talking about how this team always starts slow. That's kind of an understatement last night. I mean, out of the gate, LSU jumps out. I think it was like 22-6 out of the gate. You know, and then Kentucky kept making runs, but they dug such a big hole, they just couldn't get it over the top, and LSU held on for the win. What's up with this Kentucky team?
They better get it together. I mean, here's the thing. They have improved since the beginning of the year, but it doesn't matter if it's home or road. They start out very slowly, and if it's going to come back to bite them, you cannot do that once you get to March, because you have that one game where you start like that, and you'll run into one of these mid-majors that shoot the ball well. Next thing you know, you're in a lot of trouble because they do not shoot it well as a team. Young's a good shooter. Not sold on the Harrison boys yet.
Yeah, when we recruit the type of players that he does at Kentucky, these are naturally gifted players. And I think they just figure they roll the ball out there sometimes and their talent will take over. And I think that may be why they struggle early in the game.
In most matchups, they're going to be the more athletic club on the court.
No doubt.
But, you know, you let an underdog hang around. And as the deeper you get into the game and that underdog's still there, especially when you're on the road, now they've got confidence that they can pull this thing off. The crowd's into the game. It's crazy. And as you saw last night, LSU was able to pull it off. And LSU at times has had some games this year where they've looked good, but they've had some games they haven't looked good at all this year.
It's one of those teams that you want to play on when they have when they're playing with a purpose. And I actually think they circled that game last night. And you're going to find that anytime you're playing a Duke, a Kentucky, one of those type of teams with the storied history playing at home, and it just is a double-edged sword here because you got the Kentucky young players going on the road. But that was a pretty impressive win for LSU. It'd be interesting to see how LSU follows that game up.
Exactly.
Ken, you want to give us any tidbits, or do you want to just go right in and make it official?
I know we got a lot of football to talk about and a lot of props and a lot of good stuff. But this is a pretty big game inside the SEC, especially for Missouri at home. So I'll get right into it.
All right, let's make this one official.
And we will make it official. Go with the boys from Mizzou. How about Missouri showed a little character last night? They went into Arkansas, first team to win in Fayetteville and knock off Mike Anderson's boys, and they did it in convincing fashion. Held the lead pretty much the whole game, got caught there at the end, and then came right back with a 6-0 run, end up winning that game. So not an easy place to win, but I like the way this team's maturing. They've got players, they've got some scorers. You look at Jabari Brown, 20 points a game, 5 boards. Jordan Clarkson bails him out there on the other side of the court with 18 a game, and then Ernest Russ, the transfer from Auburn, 15 points a game as well. So you've got 3 scorers, all better than 15 a game. And these guys start fast, especially at home in Columbia. If you watch them against UCLA, got off to that quick start at home. So they'll be fired up. Columbia will be a very loud and raucous environment. And Kentucky, again, they start out slow. Doesn't matter if it's at Rupp Arena or whether it's at on the road, like last night, as Marco pointed about going down to Baton Rouge and getting down 22-6 before they made a run and got right back in that ball game. But again, what happens when you do that on the road, you exert all that energy coming back. The other team, the home team, then has that last answer usually, and you're going to end up losing the game. I love the way Julius Randle plays. He plays hard, tenacious, gets called for some bogus fouls, but there is no doubt, he is an NBA body. He is an NBA player after this year. He is one and done. Young, I love the way the southpaw shoots it. He's a guy that will knock the ball down most of the time, but teams are catching on. They're not giving him that wide open set shot from behind the arc. So the pressure falls on the Harrison boys. And again, these kids, why they are talented, and again, they're only freshmen, I understand, But if they think they're jumping right to the NBA, they're sadly mistaken. They need at least another year. And these kids need to get on the floor and dive for some loose balls. They have that AAU attitude that I see from a lot of these Silver Spoon kids. And they just, to me, they're not kids that I want on my team. They're not gritty. They're not going. If they took the talent that they had and they actually put some tenacity into it, this team would be unbeatable. But they don't have that style of play. It's not in them. They're kind of like everything's been given to them. And again, they're talented, but they don't play hard. And I'm not going to get behind this team on the road. Cauley Stein, he's there here and there, on the road. Poitras, I like off the bench. He's pretty consistent. But Kentucky's lost their last 2 road games at Arkansas, at LSU. I think they dropped their 3rd in a row. Why? Because they're going to get behind early, and that crowd from Columbia is going to get on it. They've got a little momentum, like I said, coming off the win in Arkansas, and I think this is a good, solid Missouri team, and they'll be reckoned with there in the SEC. So that is my play on pregame.tv. Give me the home team, the Missouri Tigers, at home in Columbia over the Kentucky Wildcats.
All right, great. So, Brian, you want to add something?
Yeah, just going back to what we talked earlier about Kentucky getting off to a slow start, do you also recommend a first-half play?
I do. I would go against Kentucky every first half, home or road. Doesn't matter.
All right, great stuff from the guys. We're going to be back, guys. Get ready. Overdrive Super Bowl. Rest of the videos this week, all about the Super Bowl, the game, props, how to handicap the props, what to look for. We're going to cover it all next in the remaining videos here on pregame.tv.